Hello, everyone. I'm delighted to be a part of this panel, The Power of the Word, alongside my colleagues from the International Cultural Research Alliance. We are here to explore how language doesn't just describe international cultural relations, it actively shapes it. My presentation traces the evolution of diplomatic vocabulary from its origin to today. We'll see how each new term emerges to mask underlying power dynamics while continuing to serve strategic ends. The term cultural diplomacy was coined in 1956 as a direct replacement of propaganda, a word thanks to Soviet Pravda and also to Nazi regime. To make government messaging more acceptable, the United States sent jazz icons like Louis Armstrong on global tours and called it cultural diplomacy. The New York Times, though, called jazz America's secret weapon. The friendly language of cultural exchange and diplomacy cleverly disguised Cold War objectives, using music to promote American values and counter Soviet narratives. In 1990s, Joseph Nye introduced soft power, the ability to attract rather than coerce. It quickly became the most popular euphemism for propaganda and modern cliché. Governments embraced it as a key diplomatic tool. Yet, as rankings showed, attraction often depends on material strength, economic wealth, military might, or hegemonic status. Like cultural diplomacy before it, soft power makes state influence sound benign, while its foundation frequently rests on the hard power. Over recent decades, cultural diplomacy has lost credibility in European policy circles. The European Union now favors international cultural relations. Why? As a complex supranational body, the EU manages international diplomatic relationships while projecting external influence. The term cultural diplomacy feels too state centric. Relations better reflects the EU multi actor reality while also softening its own strategic ambitions behind more neutral language. Today, diplomatic vocabulary has fragmented even further. Terms like cultural transnationalism, participatory frameworks, decolonization, and reciprocity largely replace older ones. Each claims to move beyond state centric goals, emphasizing networks, inclusion, and mutual benefit. Yet, applying the euphemist treadmill model reveals that beneath this progressive language, strategic objectives often persist. Cultural transnationalism describes cross border flows involving many actors, artists, diasporas, communities, not just states. This language suggests a post sovereign, participatory approach. Consider TICA, Turkish States Agency. It uses terms like geocultural affinities and common history, transculturalism, to build schools and mosques in regions with historic ties. The rhetoric of kinship and community effectively obscure what remains a state engineered project to expand Turkish influence. The participatory framework is now extremely popular. Nearly every major cultural institution and creative curator employs this language when working internationally. It promises a shift from top down power to inclusive, multi stakeholder exchange, presenting cultural engagement as a democratic and co curated. But we must ask, does this represent genuine shared authority? Or is it a form of tokenism where deeper inequalities in funding, management, and curatorial control remain unchanged? The language of participation often conceals persistent power asymmetries. Decolonizing has become a powerful term in cultural relations, challenging Eurocentric frameworks and seeking space for non Western knowledge. In the art world, blockchain and NFTs were initially framed as decolonizing, offering decentralized infrastructure for global South artists to penetrate in the global art markets. However, genuine decolonization requires parallel systems to coexist, not just inclusion within dominant ones. Technology alone cannot resolve colonial contradictions. True decolonization demands a fundamental reconfiguration of political, economic, and cultural powers. In conclusion, each new term, transnationalism, participation, decolonization, promises to escape the instrumentalism of the past. Yet, each also fulfills strategic diplomatic functions beneath its progressive surface. The euphemist treadmill keeps turning. New words inevitably acquire the same connotation they once thought to avoid. As scholars, our task is not just to hear what they say, but also to question what they strategically accomplish and whose interests they ultimately serve. Thank you very much for your attention today, and I wish you to have a wonderful panel.